Welcome to the Whatever Podcast. I'm Erica.
I'm Annabelle.
I'm American.
I'm not.
Welcome to our inaugural podcast.
That's a good word.
Yeah, I'm smart. Graduated from school.
Inaugural.
Yep.
I think
Mom would be proud. No, it sounded better when you said it because of your accent.
Thank you.
Do you want to hear something really sad that happened when I walked in?
Yes.
Whenever I have a long day, I have this weird thing where I get like fries from McDonald's and a small Coke.
A little comfort food.
And when I was in my manic panic to get the stuff upstairs to make my bed because this was going to be on video, I dropped it in the garage. It was really sad. I'm crying. I took a picture. If you're watching the video podcast, I'm putting up a picture of it now. It was really sad. I'm really bummed about it.
Wait, so is it gone?
Yeah, it's gone.
You didn't get to eat it?
Well, it was just Coke. My fries are sitting here on the ground, but I can't eat and do this, so it'll be cold by the time this is done. So,
do you want to eat now? I can stall.
I don't. Sure, stall.
Something that happened yesterday was it was my birthday, and it was great because, well, my birthday is my favorite day of the year. It's my favorite holiday, and maybe it's because I'm just obnoxious and love attention, but it was just really great, and it made me really happy.
How old did you turn this year?
I turned 22.
22.
But something going with that, because it's my favorite day, it means that the day after my birthday is my least favorite day of the year.
Because your birthday's over.
Yeah, almost as bad as December 26th.
The day after Christmas.
Yeah, because I'm like,
it's like another 364 days.
Another 364
365 if it's a leap year.
So as good as yesterday was, all today I'm like,
dang, this
it's
sucks.
going to be my birthday for so long. And that's all I've been thinking about.
What lessons did you learn in 21?
Well, something that I realized I learned, I'm very much a verbal processor, so I don't realize what I'm thinking until somebody asks me and I say it out loud, which sometimes gets me in trouble.
Which is why we made this podcast.
So I made this podcast, so here we go. But yesterday I was at lunch with some people and they said to me, they're like, okay, what do you want for this next year? What is something like a characteristic that you want to grow in, or just like in everyday life? And I was like actually kind of taken back by my response because I just wasn't expecting it. And I realized that I always use my age as an excuse. Like, I'm the youngest. I grew up with 4 like siblings in the home, and I was the youngest by like a lot. And then because my birthday's in the summer, I was always the youngest in every grade. Like I guess every year in my grade, I was always the youngest. And out of my friend groups, for some reason, I'm always the youngest. And so I've always just like kind of shrunken back into that, I'm the youngest, I'm the baby. People have always spoken, not trying to be like speaking down at me, but like, oh, you're so young. Oh my gosh, you're only that age. And just kind of like speaking to me like that. That's kind of given me that impression of, I'm only this young, I can't do these things.
Right.
And I've kind of made a lot of excuses for myself when it comes to a lot of different areas where it's like, I'm only 19, I'm only 20, I'm only 21. I'm not going to be serious about either my faith or relationships with different people, whatever it is, or careers, because I've just constantly been making excuses of just being too young. And so I'm done.
Done
no
being
more
young.
Excuses.
I am in this. I feel like I lived a lot of my life in that same boat because I graduated high school when I was 17. And then I had just turned fresh turned 20, I think maybe 2 weeks before I graduated college. Wow. And everybody just celebrated how young. They're like, oh, wow, you're so young. And oh, wow, you're so young. And now I'm old. I'm 26. And now I'm like, man. It was funny because I had a lot of I feel like I had a lot of who I was and same thing, being the youngest, being the baby. I think a little different than yours because you're saying I almost felt like people looked down on you. Yeah. I felt like that was the only thing I was I had to be proud of was man, I'm so young and I did this already. And then anytime I failed at anything, oh, stop it. You did so much. And yeah, being the young thing's weird. The age thing's weird. Cause I'm not even really, I feel old, but 20, I still have most of my, fingers crossed. I have most of my life still ahead of me. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's a good lesson.
Yeah.
This is your Taylor Swift year.
This is my Taylor Swift year.
T Swift.
So we're going to use this to hold me accountable to that.
I'm holding you very accountable to that.
We're going to make moves this year. I don't know what those moves are going to be, but we're going to make them.
Do you have any Do you have any tendencies?
Yes.
Do you have any tendencies that you think are weird?
Yes.
Like what? Like for me, right now, I didn't check the mail before I came in, and that's like my routine. To end my day, I check the mail. But because we were rushing to get this done and I was already late, like an hour to when I said we would start recording this, I didn't check the mail, and all my mind has been consumed about. I've been listening to everything you're saying, but there's just like that little voice. It's like, your day's not done yet because you didn't check the mail. So like as soon as we're done, I will like bolt out of here to go check the mail. Like it's like an incessant.
I guess that could be worse things. No, I guess kind of.
But like when I'm out of town, I think who's checking the mail.
That's bad.
It's weird.
Are you expecting mail?
Rarely, if ever. I mean, the occasional Amazon package, but those get
come
left
to
on the
door.
doorstep. And then sometimes, like, I get a card from I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like a weird comfort thing. Like I have to check the mail to end my day. Like
Interesting.
there have been nights where I go to sleep and I'm like maybe 10 minutes into falling asleep, and I wake up, I'm like, I have not checked the mail, and I will literally leave my room, go check the mail, and come back.
Was there ever a time
No.
in your childhood
Never.
where for some reason you didn't check the mail and because of that something terrible happened?
I think I had major FOMO when I watched Blue's Clues as a kid, and Steve would get a letter and they'd sing the like "We Just Got a Letter" song, and I never got a letter. And I think I just have this incessant need to know if I got a letter now. When I think about it, verbal processing, you know what I mean?
That's
What's your weird
something. Well, suddenly I feel like
Top
it's not so weird. I feel like it's just weird because of my personality. So my personality is very like sporadic and spontaneous and
Same.
unplanned, and I just wing life. Like my senior quote for high school literally said in the yearbook that I'm a firm believer in winging it. Because I never turned in a senior quote. I was just like, I don't know, I just wing it.
Nice.
And that's how I just go about life. Yet I'm so particular and organized when it comes to the night before a day. So every night I can't go to sleep unless my clothes for the next day are laid out from top to bottom, like socks, shoes included, whether that's for what I'm doing in the morning or like the entire day up until I go to bed the next night. Everything is laid out. All my meals are prepped and ready, and I move them to a separate spot of the fridge so that I know where they are in the morning so that I can grab them. And my coffee is already made so that in the morning there's already a mug out so that I can use that mug. Like, but I don't know why. That's just like,
Is it like a control, like a...
I don't know, but at the same time I'm still late and forgetful, so it makes no sense. Like
Understood.
the amount of times, like last week I was late to work because I forgot my laptop and a pair of pants, even though I laid everything out the night before and it was there. So it's like, I don't know if I just have to be so, yeah, maybe it is a control thing. But like if I haven't done that, if I'm really tired and I just go straight to bed, I'll lay down and all I'm thinking about is what I'm doing the next day, what I need to wear, what I need to pack. I'm like, okay, I just need to get up, figure it all out, get it all laid out, and then I can fall asleep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's normal.
I feel like to a degree that's pretty normal.
It's just for my personality. It just seems very out of place.
That it is very out of place for your personality.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's late now if it wasn't your bedtime, which is almost your bedtime.
But I already did all of that. You can walk in my room. My shoes and my socks are laid out.
But I'm
for
saying, like, if it
tomorrow.
wasn't late, I could be like, hey, you know what we should do?
Oh.
Drive to Miami and go hijack a boat. You'd be like, you know what? Reasonable. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's surprising. Like,
Kinda
that's
want
very
to.
structured. But you're pretty. I mean, you're a coach, like a fitness coach. You coach people on how to be disciplined. I feel like that.
That's true.
I feel like that's a small amount of discipline. You
That's
live
true.
a pretty disciplined life, I feel like.
I guess.
Other than the times when you eat stuff before you work out and then you throw up, which is like once a week.
It is once a week. I think that I can handle Chipotle like on my way to the gym. And every time I'm like, if I get Chipotle, I justify purchasing it
Yeah.
because I divide it in two. I'm like, oh, that's
2
dinner and
meals.
lunch.
Yeah, yeah.
Never have I ever done that. Every time I eat it, I eat the entire thing.
But what do you get on it?
Everything.
See, like if I get a bowl and I plan to eat 2 meals out of it, like I can't get anything that's like a salsa, a guacamole. Like it has to be just like
That
the rice,
makes
beans, and the
sense.
chicken, because everything else welts over time.
That makes
Wilts,
sense.
not welts.
Welts. Ew.
Wilts over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But
the sour cream, you
yesterday-
can't really microwave sour cream.
I'm also lactose intolerant, and so if I go to Chipotle,
Oh,
I'm
my
going
gosh.
for the cheese and the sour cream.
Yeah.
And it's true what the memes say, when people who are allergic to like gluten or peanuts, they make it a very strict lifestyle. They avoid those foods because it's bad for them. People who are lactose intolerant, like,
eat cheese though.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
cool. Yeah, I'm allergic to dairy.
Nice.
There we go. Not going to change anything about
Not
it.
a single thing. Wow.
Maybe I'm not that disciplined.
No, I mean, I feel like you're pretty disappointed about most things, but you still have that spontaneous edge.
So
on
edgy.
life. So you're so edgy.
So edgy.
I'm trying to think if I have any other weird. I get like the same thing from Starbucks every time, and I have to go around the same time every day.
I feel like that's not so. That's good. That's structure. I feel like that's good
Like,
routines and rhythms that we were told to stay in during
that's
quarantine.
a lot of money. I would be distressed to see how much money I've spent on Starbucks this year.
What is the weirdest, like, not necessarily fear, but like fear or anxiety that you have that is just very odd or silly?
I feel like this isn't necessarily odd or necessarily odd. I feel like it would make sense if you understand the backstory. But when I was younger, I read a story about how someone went to use like the bathroom, and their toilet started making like a weird noise, and they looked, and a snake had crawled up their pipe in their toilet.
That pipe.
The pipe, the toilet hole, the hole where the stuff goes, the dispensary. You know what I mean? I don't know what the hole in the toilet is called.
Does it have a name?
I'm sure it does, like the aglet thing, like on your shoelaces.
I learned that from Phineas and Ferb.
I did too. Everyone learned it from Phineas and Ferb. They should have gotten some sort of whatever from that. I don't know, brand deal.
Yeah.
Phineas and Ferb aglets. Can you imagine? Like green and orange little
we
aglets.
should get a brand deal with
Phineas and Ferb. I think Phineas and Ferb might be dead. Not literally their cartoon characters, but I think the show might not be making new
It's
episodes.
like, what did I miss?
Man, summer vacation ended and they were done. They were out. It's the apocalypse and they were gone. No. Anyway, whatever that whole thing, I'm sure it has a name. We should look at the name. Next episode, I'll give you the name of the toilet thing.
We're really reeling them in to come back.
Yeah, really come back if you want to know what the name of the inside of the toilet is. Anyway, so that's my irrational fear. I feel like also whenever there are chainsaws, I get concerned that the chain will fly off. Did I tell you about the story in North Carolina that one time? So one time I was in North Carolina, we were doing hurricane relief for work. I'm a video editor, and I filmed too. That's why I was on this trip. So we were filming, and someone was using a chainsaw. I play out scenarios in my head like very quickly, like in a snap. Like my brain goes down a lot of trails very quickly. And so in a span of like 30 seconds, I was like, man, what if that chainsaw flew off? And I was a good 30 feet away from I was nowhere near the chainsaw. I was like, what if that chain flew off and it like hit me in the face? Like, what would happen? And I was like, okay, well, like I'd recover, but obviously my face would be really messed up from a chainsaw literally hitting me in the face. But I'm like, but then I would just use it as a story of like triumph, and I would just become like a motivational speaker, and I would go around the world and just talk about like the chainsaw blades in people's lives, like what that represents for them. But then like my opening line when I walked on would be like, hey guys, gonna clear the air. I know I look a little strange. And then I'll just be like, I put on some pounds. I know, crazy. But I like literally have like half my face cut off by this chainsaw thing. Or like, yeah, I know I need to get a tan.
So all of this probably happened in the span of like
happened in the span of 30 seconds. Like 30 seconds. I just stood there.
And you've already got your opening line ready to go.
I stood there, that's so Raven. I was like, shoom. If that chainsaw hit me in the face, I'd become a motivational speaker, and my opening line would be, I know, I'm going to clear the air. I do look a little pale. I need to get a tan. Like, that would be my thing.
That's incredible.
I think it'd be a hit. I mean, I would not want to be hit,
Literally.
But it would be a hit. So I don't know. I just go down a lot of...
Well, that says a lot about you, that if something terrible would happen, you're already like, wow, how am I going to use that to help people?
Something like that. I don't... Or maybe I should just chill out and not think like that.
I just picture you just standing there 30 feet away, just staring at this chainsaw.
But that's like every time... Like, in this room right now, I've already pictured through scenarios if various things happen to us right now. So, like, if I heard someone running up the stairs and they started screaming, I would open that window, I would use that thing, I would tie it to my bed, we would rappel down from my window.
Don't tell them.
Oh my gosh, they can hear me. No, but you know what I mean? Like, I've thought through everything at this point. It's kind of like a weird thing. Why do you think I put that stuff in front of the door? I'm not joking. I literally put that stuff in front of the door.
I just don't think about
And I
any of
can't go to
those
sleep without my
things.
door locked. I can't go to sleep without, if there's a blinking light in my room, I cannot go to sleep. What about you? Enough about me. My weird stuff. How about you?
What
Annabelle?
was the question?
Oh, I don't remember. You asked it. Oh, what's
Oh.
your most weird fear thing?
Oh, also to do with toilets. So I tend to get lost wherever I go. I'm always lost, actually. But I also love to travel. And so, I don't have an issue with, one of my favorite things is to go to a random city or town.
Right.
And not look it up beforehand, just get dropped off in a random spot.
Nice.
And just, walk around and explore.
We love to see
I
it.
don't have a problem. I'm used to not knowing where I am. I'm fine with that and, figuring things out for myself. But the second you put me in a restaurant that I haven't been to before and tell me to find the bathroom, the biggest wave of anxiety comes over me. I don't know what it is. Every time I go to a restaurant, I sit down and all I can think about is I don't know where the restroom is. I don't know where the restroom is.
Is it just restaurants or is it really just anywhere?
I guess anyway, 'cause it's the same thing at people's houses.
Hotels?
I haven't really thought about hotels. I feel like they make it pretty clear where restrooms are. And it's not, it's
true.
less if you're wandering around, nobody knows you're wandering around. Whereas a restaurant,
you're just
if you
in awe
stand
of
up,
the experience.
yeah. Whereas a restaurant, if you stand up and you walk to the complete opposite wrong side of the restaurant,
And you go into where the servers are
you're
getting
going
the
to
food.
yeah, you go into that wrong place, and then you have to walk all the way back in front of all those people we've already walked in
So
front of.
embarrassing.
And then people's houses, I just get really embarrassed, and so I'll it takes me a good 20 minutes to rack up the courage to ask the host and be like, hey, where's your restroom? And if they make a big deal out of it, if they're suddenly oh, hey, you over there, can you show her where it is? In front of everyone, I shrink back and I am humiliated.
I'm actually really surprised by that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just get really bad restroom anxiety.
Interesting. Do you have any do anything back in your childhood that made you scared of asking where the...
I mean, I peed my pants a lot up until an old age. But I don't
How
think
old
that's
are we
relevant.
talking?
20.
I don't know. I've heard that's a thing though. I don't know.
I don't know, but it's not out of oh my gosh, I have to know where the restroom is because I'm going to pee my pants.
Yeah.
It's I can't not know where it is because I'm going to look dumb. Or
Yeah, well, I don't think you looked up. I understand
just
the fear part.
overthink all of it.
I understand that to an extent, I think.
Yeah,
To an extent.
it's weird.
It is weird. Annabelle, you do wedding photography. Do you have any fun wedding stories? Any fun situations you've got yourself into?
I mean, this one wasn't so fun. There was this one wedding where before the wedding had even started, the bride was already drunk.
Oh, wow.
And so that was entertaining to photograph. But then when it came to the editing portion, there was not one picture of her looking directly at the camera
No.
or with both eyes open. And all the pictures from the reception is just her just twerking on her husband. And
Nice.
she's just fully bent over and just eyes closed the entire time. And there isn't one picture without her with a drink in her hand.
LIVIN.
And it was I don't know what to do because I panicked because I didn't want to give her back pictures that...
But I wonder how she reacted to that. If she was mad or she was like, man, I was having the best time. You know what I mean?
I don't know. But it wasn't fun, woo pictures. It was
Did she complain at all?
cross-eyed, one eye closed.
Did she complain at all ever?
No.
Man, that's nuts.
The wedding was also in a venue with no windows and no lights.
Oh, no.
And everything was this dark brown wood.
That's not
And they are
cute.
probably the worst pictures I've ever taken.
Really
What is
staring
your
at me.
worst story or funniest?
I'm trying to think. I've had some wacky ones, some I won't disclose because they were more recent than others. But there was one a few years ago. A bride asked me to come shoot their wedding for free, and I knew of her, and it was kind of a rushed wedding. It was something that came up, and they needed to get married pretty quickly. And so I was it's only a couple hours. It was a really short wedding. I went, and so she tells me when I get there. Hey, my mom's friend is interested in photography, and so he came with his camera too, and he's gonna take pictures. And I was like, oh, I'm literally a professional giving my time to this day, but it's okay. Not that I ever think of myself like that, but at the time I was very frustrated because I had a long day. Like I had done a bunch of stuff. I'd been up since like 5 that morning, and the wedding was at like noon. And so I was just exhausted. And so then, the guy came in with his camera, and I have a picture of me down the aisle. It was just a very small wedding with just like immediate family. And, you see, I took a picture. It's like the guy, like maybe a foot or two away from the bride and groom, like standing directly in the center of the aisle, and a grandmother with a video camera, like also 2 feet away. And I'm like, I don't understand how I'm supposed to get photos of them if, they're doing this.
Were they in all your pictures?
They were in a lot of the pictures. I was able to work around it. And so then we had to do the family photos. And so I would take the family photos and I would try to move on. You take the family pictures, you move on, you go quick. She would stop me. She's like, okay, now it's so-and-so's turn. Was getting angry with me for trying to move on. So then I had to wait, let him repose them and take the pictures or whatever. It took double the time. It should have maybe, because it was a smaller wedding, should have maybe taken 5-10 minutes. It took us half an hour with the guy. And so then finally it was time for the bride and groom portraits, and the guy started to follow us, and the bride finally had enough of it and was like, it's just gonna be Erica and no one else. Thank you. And I was like, oh, thank the Lord. Because I was getting pretty flustered.
Bad.
I'm a pretty patient person in those scenarios because everyone's kind of high strung on wedding days. You kind of have to be. But that day I was.
You want to give them their best and what they're paying for.
Right.
So it's hard when there's people in the way the whole time, because that's you want to give them good pictures.
Well, not what they paid for, because it was for free. I really was just trying to. It was a complicated situation. I was trying to be helpful in that situation. I normally don't do stuff. I only say I normally don't do stuff like that. I actually had a very strong talking to from someone I trust as a business mentor that finally was like, you have to charge people. You need to charge people. You have to. That's how you make money to buy your own equipment, and your time is worth something. And I genuinely, I feel like most of my time I try to be super helpful as I can be. It's never been a money thing for me, just photography and stuff. It's weird when you take something you really enjoy and then you make a business out of it, because you're just
I feel so guilty.
Yeah, I feel guilty. And also I just love it so much.
I would be there anyway.
Yeah, I genuinely would be there anyway. It's never been about the money thing. And it's nice now because I can use the money to get better equipment, to take my friends. So most of the extra money I make goes to save or pay off student loan debt or whatever, or to help treat my friends to something. Because that's what I love doing. It's so much fun. But it's never been about the money thing for me, so it's really weird. But they finally were you need to charge. But anyway, at the time, it was more rare than not that I would do it for free. But it was still a thing where I'll just do it right for free. It was just a thing I did. I don't know.
Oh, well, you're such a nice person. I hope they're doing well.
I hope so too.
They were really sweet. Pictures are framed in their house.
No, they were real. The bride and groom were really, really sweet. The mom, I'm sure, was really sweet too. I think she just, when you have a personal interest in things, it's just you take things more offensively. I'm sure it was like that for her. I just, as a professional that was coming and giving their time to the day, and it just felt almost rude for me, but she didn't know. She wouldn't have known. This is the brand of the week segment. We don't have sponsors because nobody knows who the heck we are yet. But until we do, I just have things that I'm very passionate about, brands, and this one's deserves all of the glory it's going to receive. So there's a company called The Laundress. This, you can't really see it super well, but I'll put a picture up somewhere on here when I edit it in the video podcast. But it's a New York based company. They're eco-friendly, they're cruelty free, and they're plant-based. All their products are plant-based. And so if you know anything about me, actually there's a poster behind me of John Mayer. I love John Mayer so much. I know that's a really basic thing to love someone that's a really popular person. Yes. And they did a collaboration with him. The company's called Laundress. I didn't even say what the name of the company. This is so bad. No. Oh, did I really? Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, I was going to say, man, no one's ever going to hire us for an ad. I didn't even say the name of the company. They did a collaboration with John Mayer. It's called Out West. And it literally smells like I've never been to Montana and I've never seen a sunset. But if I had, I feel like a Montana sunset, if you put it in a bottle, that's what it would sound like. Smell like, not sound like. I don't know. I'm very passionate about it. I just got a whole box of their stuff. They actually have little emergency kits, little pouches. So I got a stained one for weddings. Because one time I'm gonna have to call this person after this. When I was shooting a wedding, one of my first weddings like I ever shot like by myself, I was doing the pictures of the bride's dress.
Oh no.
And I was a kid. Like I didn't know anything. I was so dumb. It was just like a couple friends. But I was hanging it on this wall to take pictures. And I was wearing red lipstick.
No.
I don't wear makeup for weddings anymore. And I hung it when I was taking it off. There was like the smallest like microbial dot of red lipstick on this dress. And so then I was like, what do I do? If I wipe the lipstick off, I look guiltier than if I just leave it on. But then do I tell them about it or do I just I'm like, it was such a small spot and it was in such a weird spot. That's why I brought like the weird wedding things. And it was on the dress, but you couldn't tell because it was on like a little fold in the dress. So I didn't say anything. So I like put the dress back. Some time passed and I went in the room while she changed. So she put the dress on and I'm waiting in the other room. And they're like, oh my goodness.
No.
Someone got a red lipstick on the dress.
Thankfully, mean, it's like a whole white canvas that even the tiniest speck they will notice.
It was on like a fold or something, but all the bridesmaids were wearing like various shades of red lipstick, so I wasn't the only one. So I just sat did they do like a test? Hold everybody's faces up to they got it out the dress. Moral of the story: at the end of the day, they got out the dress. This was years ago. This is literally forever ago, and they got it out of the dress, and it was fine. All that to say, I got an emergency pouch for weddings in case there are stains or anything that happen because stuff that happens. And the brand's awesome. The people are awesome. It's two chicks that run the company in New York. They're really, really cool company. So if you're interested in anything, use Erica 10 at checkout. It won't do anything because, again, we're not sponsored by anybody.
This did not work.
It didn't work. It won't work, but it would make me feel good if you at least tried. I've actually referred like 2 people, and you get like $20 per person you refer.
That's awesome.
Which is sick. I mean, they have to use specific links, so I won't get anything out of this. But anyway, it was super cool. I just love the company so much. Anyway, so that's...
Put the link in the show notes.
I'll put the link in the show. No, no, it's not like that. I really do. Actually, I want you to try. They have this like vinegar, this specific kind of like washing vinegar it's specifically for athletic clothes. For my stuff and for your stuff, we'll have to try it. It's super cool. It's supposed to change the game, like get rid of every scent ever. So anyway, that's my brand of the week, The Laundress. I'll put the link somewhere on the screen. It's thelaundress.com. So go buy your detergent and live your best life. You know what, Annabelle? I think it's about time we wind this down. I'm trying to think of a good. I literally have my list. Why I'm a psycho? That's what I put on the list because I was driving back from Target after buying all this. So all the bedding behind you, I will give a caveat that I was interested in this bedding before this thing, but I knew my bed was going to be shown and I wasn't really pleased with the bedding I had before. So I just went to Target and bought this comforter and blanket. Okay. I
appreciate the honesty.
I have a sleeping issue. Like I'm always hot. And I feel like I've tried like 3 bajillion things. Like I got linen sheets to try because I feel like they'll maybe let me sleep cooler. I don't know.
You bought a giant blanket.
The blanket's is a separate thought from the rest of my bedding.
Have you ever had a weighted blanket?
I saw them at Target and I almost got one, but also I feel like with my paranoia, I would wake up feeling like someone's going to choke me. I know. Yeah, I would feel like someone was trying to kill me or something.
No, never mind. I was going to say that could have been a great option. It's supposed to keep you nice and cool, but still have that weighted feeling.
The weighted blanket?
Yeah.
How does that keep you cool?
Because it's the thickness and like the temperature of a regular blanket, but it's that heaviness to make you feel like you're on a swarm of blankets.
Oh.
Like that cozy feeling, which is what I do. I have a ton of blankets and I just sweat.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I just feel like someone was trying to kill me. My door's locked every night. No one can get in here, but I do lock my door every night. It's a problem. Yeah. What's wrong with me? I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I'm so paranoid all the time about the dumbest stuff that's like irrelevant. Anyway, that's all the time we have. I think that's good. It's past your bedtime. Actually, I'm proud of you for being up this late, this long.
Thank you. I had coffee at 4 p.m.
Oh, that's why.
For this reason.
Well,
but it's a solid 3 hours past my bedtime.
Yeah, 3 hours.
10, 9, 8, 7,
why
2 hours.
Why did I think you went to bed at 10?
I go to bed at like 8:30.
Man, I really got that wrong.
It's okay. I accidentally took a 2-hour nap today.
Ah, nice.
So I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, guys, that's our inaugural episode, our first episode of the the Whatever Podcast. Thanks for listening. Do us a huge favor, like, subscribe. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, rate us, leave a review. It would help us greatly, especially since this is our first podcast. And we can't wait to see you next week.
See you next week.
Toodaloo.
Go change the world.